From the heart of Big Ten country, Los Angeles, California, Ryan Abraham and David Woods present the Podcast of Champions.
Welcome, everyone, back to the Podcast of Champions. I'm David Woods from Bruin Report Online, the UCLA site on the 24/7 Sports Network.
Oh, and I'm USCFootball.com's Ryan Abraham, part of the 24/7 Sports Network. And together we make the Podcast of Champions, talking all things Big Ten football. Messed that up pretty good. But we're here.
I got you this time.
Tuesday. We're doing a show on Tuesday. We just did a show. Did we do Sunday? We did Sunday morning.
Who knows?
Yeah, because it's the holidays. And it's Thanksgiving, but that's a big holiday. I love the big meal.
I wouldn't call this the holidays, right?
I think we're probably into it. I set up my Christmas tree, so we're in the holidays.
Wow. A lot of people get angry at you for that.
Some do. Some do it up like after Halloween. I'm sticking around. I usually leave during like Christmas time. I'm sticking around. I'll be here. So I wanted to set the tree up early, and my family's coming in for Thanksgiving, so I wanted to have the tree there when they showed up. So that's what I did.
like that.
Yeah.
Look at you. You're not a man of convention. You're a man who breaks free of convention.
I'll break free all the time. But yeah, we got to talk about the final regular season weekend of Big Ten football. And since we don't record, we could have recorded tomorrow, I guess, but it would have been tough. And then Thursday's Thanksgiving. So we're doing it on Tuesday, a little early preview. You can listen to it later in the week if you want, whatever you want to do. We are live on YouTube with the non-simulcast that Dave likes to call it. But if you're watching us live, put your comments in the chat box, and I will put them up on the screen. It's showing we've got some people watching live. Thank you for that. It shows 0 chat revenue. We got no super chats yet, so you guys can jump all over that. Hit the like, smash the subscribe if you want to see more of the content of me and Mr. Beard David over there. You good? You ready
I'm great.
You ready for Thanksgiving?
I'm ready. I've never been more ready for anything in my entire life.
Oh, that's good. I love that. If you're ready for some questions, people can email us, big10cast@gmail.com. You can also call or text us. We got a couple late voicemails. I just recorded a USC podcast, finished an hour ago, and then within that hour, we got 2 voicemails, including the Zodiac Killer. 424-532-0678 is the number. You can tweet at B1G Podcast on the Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. And if you have Apple or Spotify to listen to your podcast, please find the Podcast of Champions and leave us a 5-star rating. And if you have Apple, you can leave us a review as well. We love to read the reviews. We love to give away Trader Joe's gift cards to the best reviews. So on the recap show, we will do that. I don't know if we got any new ones, David, but make sure you leave the reviews.
We have 4 new reviews.
Wow. Okay, so make sure they're good, because we're going to do our recap early next week, Sunday or Monday, and we'll pick the best one and give them a Trader Joe's gift card. Thanks to John in Brea, who's been great for us. You know what's been great?
What's been great, Ryan?
Well, my picks have been pretty darn good. I am 7 games above 500. You are 3 games below 500, so not as good, I guess you could say. You got some ground to make up. Anyone, you could make ground on all of us. You can beat us in our picks. If you want to go over to our friends at MyBookie. Yeah, they've been helping us out for, 4 or 5 years now. It's been a while. Yeah. We appreciate their partnership here on the Podcast of Champions. And if you want to bet along with us, you want to bet against us, do your own thing. Whatever you'd like to do, you can do it over at MyBookie. And if you haven't tried it before, I know we talked about it a lot, you can use the promo code POC. And what you do is when you deposit, say, $50 or $100 or whatever you want to put in there, they will match it 100%. So you'll be able to double whatever you put in, and then be able to have a little more fun with your bets because you have a little extra money to play with. And if you don't like betting on sports, you can also use the live casino, which is kind of fun. I've done some blackjack stuff in there. They have little blackjack tournaments you can get into. You can play baccarat, whatever you want to do. But they get the live casino as well. But we mostly stick to the, because we make our picks against the spread here, doing the sports betting stuff. You can do first half, second half. You can do over-unders, whatever you want to do over at MyBookie. You can do the NFL. We got playoffs and stuff coming up in a few weeks. Of course, anything with college football is a lot of fun to do because we have fun with it, and you should too. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only at MyBookie.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful read.
We got week 14.
Week 14, the last week of the regular season.
Some rivalry games, some games that are probably rivalry games that we don't know that they are because even though we're the foremost authority on Big Ten football.
But who can really say what Minnesota, Wisconsin is?
Yeah.
Rivalry,
Hatred.
not rivalry?
Hatred.
Nebraska and Iowa? Who knows?
I think there's a lot of trophies this weekend. Not that we know what they are.
But there are some. We're certain of it.
I know one.
But who can forget the famed rivalry between Maryland and Penn State?
Right. That's a massive one.
Yeah.
There are some other, but we'll get to all of them, and we'll give you like a rivalry rating for each one of these.
Good.
These games. You're gonna do it. So we're gonna start. So there's no one on a bye. Everybody's playing. It's like a participation trophy for everyone. Everyone gets to play. Let's start off on Friday. I think David mentioned this one already. We got
Minnesota Golden Gophers.
They're gonna be on the road, taking on
Wisconsin Badgers.
Jump around.
9 a.m. on CBS. Minnesota traveling to Wisconsin. Wisconsin is a 2-point home favorite in this football game. Ryan Abraham. All right. All cards on the table. I don't feel good about my picks in the Big Ten so far, especially in the very Big Ten-y type games.
Yes,
you know what I'm talking
2-point
about.
spread,
Yeah, where it's like two teams that look, I'm not being mean. Okay, this is a safe space. We're all just saying what we think. Two teams that play dirt ball, right? Like two teams who are gonna grind it out and not really score a whole lot. So I haven't been very good in these games. But my initial instinct here is that Minnesota is just simply a better football team. And I'm kind of struggling with this line because of it. I do think they're relatively even, but I do think Minnesota is just simply better. And if this is a neutral field, I would take Minnesota in a heartbeat. And I don't know if there's anything compelling about what Wisconsin has done lately to make me think that they're going to win this one. I know Braden Locke looked better last week, but I'm much more confident in Max Brosmer. Minnesota's running game being relatively efficient, if not explosive.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take Minnesota here.
I am going.
I'm taking them to win outright. Yeah.
Yeah, it's only a 2-point spread, so I mean that's not much of a stretch. But yes, I would. I'm going to go with Minnesota as well. Last week, Minnesota did cover against Penn State. Certainly could have won that game. Obviously, we talked about it on Sunday. And Wisconsin did not. And I think we both picked Wisconsin in that game. We'll talk about Nebraska in a bit. I think they figured something out. So I don't want to ding Wisconsin too much for losing to a struggling Nebraska team. We'll get to that in a second. But I do, like you, I think Minnesota is just the better football team. And I am going to go with the Gophers.
All right, so this is a rivalry, Ryan. It is apparently the most played rivalry in NCAA FBS football, with 133 meetings between these two teams. The first meeting was in 1890.
Wow.
And Minnesota won that 163-0. This is the battle for Paul Bunyan's axe. That's what they're doing. It's sometimes known as the border battle. Originally, there was a trophy that was just a slab of bacon, Ryan.
Is there a better trophy than a slab of bacon?
I don't know. Probably not.
Probably not. No. All right. Well, that's awesome. Having friends from Minnesota, I know about the rivalry with Wisconsin. That's just one of those things that happens. We do got people active in the chat. Well, thank you for doing that. For whatever reason, my application to put the chat messages on the screen is not working, so we'll have to just look at them. If you have something funny, we can read them or whatever. But so if you see something, David,
I can't see you right now either. So the application is not working in several ways.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, we're frozen. It's fine though. We're not frozen on YouTube, and that's all that matters.
Okay, well, as long as we're working on YouTube and stuff. So I think it's the program's going on holiday as well. So we'll get through this. We'll get through all this. Let us know in the chat if you have any issues. You can still see the chat, right, David?
I can see everything I need to and nothing I don't.
Okay, that's perfect. All right, a little bit later in the day. Plus, okay, so jump around. How effective is it going to be at 10:45 in the morning? somewhat, but
Yeah.
it's a little different than if it was at night.
Yeah.
Let's go, and this one's like a rivalry too, I guess, in some cases. We've got
Nebraska Cornhuskers.
I'm peeling corn.
at
Iowa Hawkeyes.
4:30 p.m. day after Thanksgiving on NBC. Nebraska traveling to Iowa. This is newly bowl eligible Nebraska, riding high for the first time since 2016, headed to a bowl game. Congrats to the Cornhuskers. Iowa is a 6-point favorite in this football game. Are they getting Brendan Sullivan back for this game, Ryan?
I don't think so.
Is Cade McNamara making his triumphant return?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
Are you asking me, or this is like facetious?
No, it was facetious.
Yes. I was gonna
So
say.
are they still starting a guy who was playing scout team linebacker?
Linebacker, I believe. Yeah. Like that.
Okay.
It's a quick turnaround. It's a Friday game.
Mm-hmm. And Dana Holgorsen still the Nebraska offensive coordinator?
He is, yes.
As far as we know. And how many points did they put up on Wisconsin this past weekend?
It's like
45, something like that?
adjusted
48?
for Big Ten scale, that was 100 million. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Give me Nebraska. I think they go into Iowa, shock the world, pull off the W, finish with 7 wins this year.
Yeah. I mean, Iowa looked good on the road against Maryland, with a linebacker at quarterback. Yes, that certainly happened. But I talked to an insider at Nebraska, and he was like, if they had Dana Holgorsen a little bit earlier, especially before they played USC, he's like, another week ahead of time before USC, you would have seen a different Nebraska offense. And it looked completely different. They were it was an explosive offense. It was an efficient offense. It looked good. Mm-hmm. And I think the Dana Holgorsen it's starting to take hold. And you saw that last week against a pretty good Wisconsin team. I think they're going to do some things on the offense, on the road at Iowa. So I'm going to take Nebraska in those 6 points as well.
David.
Potential win outright situation. Like you talk about get right games. I think this was a get right, like get rid of the offensive coordinator, figure it out first week, starts humming the next week. And I think that's what we got here.
Absolutely. I'm with you.
Let's move to Saturday. One of these teams doesn't play in this time slot very often. We've got
Michigan Wolverines.
and they're on the road at number 2.
The Ohio State Buckeyes.
Ohio State's got to be excited to be playing this time slot. They haven't really gotten any 9 a.m. games this year. So
No, I mean, I wonder if they just switch all their practices to 9 a.m. or noon there. Like it's like
just get used to this because they haven't done this.
Every single game is insane. Like
9 a.m. on Big Fox. Michigan traveling to number 2 Ohio State. All right, so Ohio State's a 3-touchdown favorite. They are favored by 21 football points in this game. All right, so here's the thing. Michigan should struggle to score anything against this Ohio State defense.
Yeah.
At the same time, Sharon Moore has been big at just throwing the kitchen sink into games this year. And like I keep saying, you can't say they're not trying. You can't say they're not trying to do different stuff. And I do think they're going to be able to try and do some trickeration, just do some goofy things and maybe score some points. The problem I'm running into is Michigan's defense has taken a big step back from last year. It's not an elite unit anymore. It's simply a good unit.
Yeah.
And I don't think good is good enough in this game. And I do think Ohio State is going to be eager to take advantage of a very down Michigan team this year after the last couple of years. So I'm going to take Ohio State. I don't feel great about it. I do think Michigan, I could see Sharon Moore just, throwing a lot of weird stuff out there and trying to
play to cover.
Get some junk points. No, I mean, they're not going to play to cover, but I could see them trying to do some tricky plays that score some points. But I just think Ohio State's a far better team on both sides of the ball.
I do too. This is tough. 21's a lot. defending national champion and all that. But Ohio State, just watching that defense and it's just really hard to do much of anything. And we've seen Michigan have some success, but like, I feel like this Ohio State defense can eat a dude like Davis Warren alive. Like they're just going to shut down the run, pick off a few passes, and just kind of get the offense going. So I'm going to take Ohio State too. I don't feel great about it, but you just get the feeling it's a game like this. Like, is it 21-0 and like Michigan kicks a field goal or something? Like, I don't know. Like they might do something like that, but I feel like this is going to be a revenge game. What has it been? It's almost like 1,200 days since Ohio State's beaten Michigan. It was like 1,180 something. I forget what it was. I saw a number. I think there's going to be a lot of frustration being taken out. And Sherrone Moore was the head coach.
It does have potential for the funniest outcome in history, though.
Oh, it does.
This Michigan team beating this Ohio State team would be funnier than pretty much anything else that happened this season.
It would be I mean, yes, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Even Sherrone Moore, who was the coach last year in this game. So it's not even like we're going to take it easy because Harbaugh's not there. There's like, no, he coached against us last year. Yeah. So give me Ohio State by 1 million.
Yep.
We'll see what happens. All right. Next up, we got the next time slot. Man, we got 4 games in this next time slot. What are we going to do? First up, we've got the Fresno State Bulldogs.
No, you skipped a game. You skipped a game.
Oh, did I skip a game?
Cool.
Oh, another 9 a.m. Oh, there's 2 9 a.m. games. Sorry.
Yeah.
We got a ranked team. We got number 25.
Illinois Fighting Illini.
Hi, I'm from Illinois.
At
Northwestern Wildcats.
Arr!
Yeah, 9 a.m. Big Ten Network, number 25, Illinois at Northwestern. Illinois's got one good thing. They're pretty good at offense. Northwestern has no good things. None.
Yeah.
They're not pretty good at offense. They're not pretty good at defense. They are not good. Illinois' defense isn't very good, but I don't know if Jack Lausch and this Northwestern offense can really do a whole lot at this point. So Illinois is resurgent here at the end of the season. I think they are geared up to finish this year on a very hot streak. So give me those Illini to cover 7.5 points on the road.
I'm going to go with you on this one, too. 2 weeks ago, Northwestern was able to keep it close enough to cover a 28.5-point spread against Ohio State. Last week, we both were on Michigan, and they covered. Michigan covered easily against Northwestern. This is a similar spread. Not that Illinois is Michigan, but I think that the Illini could win by 10 points, 14 points pretty easy, and maybe get a blowout win. So we will both be on the Illini for this one.
Yeah.
Write it in there. Okay. Next up, the one I was mentioning, we have Fresno State on the road at
UCLA Bruins.
Wow.
Oh, did you want to do a Fresno State sound?
Yeah, this is the Fresno State Bulldogs, so it's sort of like because they've got like real fucked up faces and they can't chew their own food and they can barely breathe.
Sorry, Griffin.
Bulldogs. Sorry, Griffin. That's the one. 12:30 p.m. on Big Ten Network. Fresno State traveling to UCLA. UCLA is a 9.5-point home favorite. What do we know about UCLA this year, Ryan?
They cover spreads
most of the time, right?
Yeah, they didn't last week for us. They didn't help us out last week.
All right, Jeff Tedford, is he still the coach of Fresno State?
He is not. No,
he's got health issues. We wish the best for Jeff Tedford.
Yeah.
Is Fresno State good?
No. Usually it's not good either, but Fresno State's not good.
Right. No, and I do want to be clear. UCLA is definitely not good. Fresno State's already secured a bowl game. However, and this is a key point. This is an important point. Fresno State has beaten the hell out of UCLA pretty regularly the last, forever they've played. It's been a bizarre little sequence. They come into this game, I think, geared up and ready to try to, it's a lot of guys with chips on their shoulders who didn't get into a P5 school or whatever. And so they come in angry. A lot of them are from SoCal. So there's that element. There's another big element, which is this is, for Fresno State, this is like a little thing you gear up for at the end of the season. Like, oh, we're playing a P4 opponent. We're going to go kick their butt. And for UCLA, this is coming after a really disappointing loss to USC. I think it's a new and unique challenge for Deshaun Foster. It's one thing to keep the guys engaged at 1-5, though that was a challenge, and I don't mean to denigrate it. He did a great job keeping them engaged, but it's another thing when all hope is lost. Like, they do not have a bowl game on the horizon. It's not going to happen. And all that's left is this game that's hard to get inspired for after they got super pumped up and engaged for the USC game. As we always say, it's hard to do that week in and week out, to just kind of empty the emotional chamber and then refill it immediately. So all of that said, I think UCLA is a significantly better team. I think they should cover if this was on a neutral field in the middle of the season. But there's so many soft factors that point this in Fresno State's direction that I can't in good conscience take UCLA to cover that many points. So I'm going to take Fresno State.
Wow. Okay. When I've picked with you on UCLA games, we've got them wrong. They haven't covered. I think we both picked UCLA twice, and they haven't covered the last 2 weeks. Is that correct? The week before that, you had UCLA over Iowa. I had Iowa, and you got that right. And the week before that, I had UCLA against Nebraska. You had Nebraska. I got that right.
Correct.
It's when we don't.
So we don't know is the point. That's the incredible.
But when we don't pick together, whoever picks UCLA gets it right. So I'm going to pick UCLA, and then I'll get it right.
Trojan fan has an important point. Dave always looks like the guy at the mall waiting to start getting paid for being Santa for the Christmas season.
I'm so sorry I can't put up. I'm sorry I can't put up comments right now.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. It's very, very nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a compliment, right?
Yeah, I think so. My daughter, when she was 4, this is my eldest daughter. She just started calling me Santa Claus like in November of that year, and this was before my hair was white.
Yeah.
But it was like such a sick. Like before, it was like super white, but it was such a sick burn on so many levels. Because it was like, this isn't even Christmas season yet. Like, it's November, and you're calling me Santa Claus, which means you think I'm like rosy cheeked, fat, and white bearded. And it's like, come on, man, you're my daughter. You're 4.
Kids are like good, they don't pull any punches.
She didn't even mean it as an insult, which is the worst part.
She's just giving like her honest opinion. Like, she's not thinking about your feelings or there's nothing nefarious behind. It's just, that's what I thought, So I said it.
Nobody cuts you up like your own kids.
All right. Do they ever do something like you're like walking in the mall and like maybe there's like, say, an obese person walking by and go, like, Daddy, that person's super fat. You're like, yes, we know, but don't say it. You can't just say that. Like, kids will do that sometimes.
They don't do that game. It's more,
not like they mean anything about, like, just see something and they say it,
Yeah, a little bit, but like not that rude. That kind of stuff. So kids don't notice stuff like that as much until they get older. Like, until they are taught in some way to like care about that stuff, they don't really. Like,
gotcha.
Kids, like, I don't know. It's a different deal, but like they will say weird and rude stuff. It's just not in kind of that way. It's just, being rude little assholes about, general decorum.
Okay. All right. Next game. This is one of the biggest rivalries. Just when I came in, first started covering Big Ten football, this was the game I was looking forward to most. We have
Maryland Terrapins
Snap.
on the road at number 4.
Penn State Nittany Lions.
Rawr.
This is somehow also at 12:30 p.m. on the Big Ten Network. I don't know how that works. Regional networks, I guess.
Yeah.
Pac-12 had a solution for this. RIP Pac-12. Maryland at number 4, Penn State.
Did you guys know the Pac-12 had 7 networks? How stupid was that? Like, we've heard this thing. We're like, you know what we're going to do? Let's make 7 TV networks for our conference.
Penn State is – first, let's start with this, Ryan. What's the number at which you wouldn't take Penn State against Maryland at this point?
I don't know, but it's not this number, I can tell you.
Yeah, because Penn State's favored by 25.5, and I'm taking Penn State in a heartbeat. Again, on the merits, if you look at the analytics, Penn State probably shouldn't beat them by that amount. However, if you've been watching Maryland football for like the last 7 games, aside from the USC game, Penn State's covering that, buddy. Penn State would have to come into this game and be like, look, we just don't want to get anyone hurt. We're going to run the ball 80 times, and we're going to be content to win 17-3. eminently possible, but I think they're still in enough of a position that they want to put up some style points here at the end of the season. You know, you don't know what weird stuff's going to happen. You don't know how many SEC teams they're going to try to fit into this bitch. So why not just blow out Maryland? And I think they are wholly capable of blowing out Maryland. They are a far, far better team. And Maryland has fallen apart at this point in the season. I don't know anything about Mike Loxley's job status, but I have to imagine his seat is warming up precipitously over the last few games. Penn State is looking more and more machine-like after that Ohio State loss. So give me Penn State and minus 25.5.
Yeah. Iowa, what was it, 29-13 last week over Maryland? But it looked like it was worse than that. I think, did Maryland score late or something?
And again, was Brendan Sullivan there for that game?
No.
Was Cade McNamara?
He was not, no.
So you're telling me that they
linebacker.
allowed Iowa to score 29 points with a guy who was playing some scout team linebacker earlier this year?
Yep.
At quarterback? Okay, cool.
Yeah. No, take Penn State on this one. Trying to make a statement. They're securely in the playoffs, but just, opportunity to try to win the Big Ten, all that stuff, hoping for some chaos. I think they're just going to roll Maryland in this one. All right. Yep. We have the number 6. You want to do the thing?
The Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Give me my pot of gold.
On the road, taking on the unranked
USC Trojans.
Yet another 12:30 game. This one on CBS. Number 6 Notre Dame traveling to USC. Notre Dame is a playoff contender. USC theoretically was at one point this season at the beginning of the year. USC is a 7.5-point home dog. I've now watched Jaden Mayava play 2 football games.
Yep.
The first one, he should have thrown 3 picks. This one, he had at least, I think it was 7 balls touched by a UCLA defender. And that doesn't count the ball that he threw through the arms, and somehow Kane Medrano didn't bring them together on a little thing to Lake McCree. So that was 8 passes that could have been picked off in this pass game against UCLA.
PFF gave him 0 turnover-worthy plays, by the way. PFF.
Good for them. Okay. Good for them. They don't watch the games. Can you please stop grading based off of PFF college? Because they're horrible. They're a joke among coaches. Anyway, continuing. What's Notre Dame known for? Is it offense? Good offense?
They have pretty good offense, but they have a great defense, specifically pass defense.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, yeah, they've got the number 3 defense in the country in terms of success rate, and number 1 in pass defense.
Yes.
What does Lincoln Riley keep doing this year that's kind of frustrating for all USC fans and anybody with a brain?
Well, they have a very effective running game. It's not utilized all that often. It's like you have this cool vacation home in Montana, a cabin, but you never go there.
For sure.
So they throw the ball quite a bit.
Right. Is that going to work out in this game, do we think?
No, I think if you look at what happened with USC and Washington, where Lincoln Riley threw the ball 50 times against the top ranked, literally I'm not making that number up. 50 times against the top ranked pass defense in the country. I'm expecting 55 throws in this one against the now top ranked defense in the country.
Right. And I'll say it because Ryan can't. It's because Lincoln Riley's stupid. He's not very smart. And don't get me wrong, Notre Dame's offense is also pretty good, but I don't think it's going to be scoring 45 in this game. But I'm looking and I'm seeing 35-14. I see Notre Dame just smoking this SC team. And I don't think it's because the players are bad. I don't think it's because Danton Lynn's a bad coach. I think it's because Lincoln Riley's an idiot.
Hard to argue with I'm in the same boat. I'm like a 31-17 kind of range right now. So I shared this with David before we went on the air. Josh Pate from 24/7 Sports, who keeps ranking USC in his top 20 or whatever. So the interesting stat is this, and then for USC to win this game, they need this stat to kind of continue. But they have, if you look at every team in FBS, 133 teams, There are only 6 teams out of 133 that have had a lead in the fourth quarter of every game. So everyone's played 11 games. Only 6 teams out of 133 have had a lead in the fourth quarter of every single game. There's one team in the, maybe 2, maybe it's Ohio State and Oregon in the Big Ten. USC is the other one. USC's had a lead in every fourth quarter, yet they are 6-5. If you look at the losses, there are 10 total losses from those 6 teams. Half of them are USC. So the other 5 teams have a total of 5 losses. So 1 loss apiece. So basically average, every team that has had a fourth quarter lead in every game is 10-1 right now. And USC is 6-5. Yeah. I don't think they're going to I think that's going to break this game because USC is probably going to be pounding its head against the wall. They should be running it, but they're not going to. They're probably going to throw the ball a lot. It's a really good Notre Dame pass defense. I think Riley Leonard, it can be really explosive. He's not the best downfield thrower, but they've been really effective running the ball. USC's done a nice job stopping the run for a lot of teams, but I just feel like they're going to be able to score enough points, take advantage of some USC mistakes. And it's just a team that has every I dotted, every T crossed. They're like Indiana as far as just blowing teams out. They're winning by a lot since that Northern Illinois game where Riley Leonard was all banged up, especially late in that game. He threw a couple picks. They don't turn the ball over. They don't kill themselves. So I think they're going to beat USC pretty good.
All right, cool.
Sorry, Trojan fans. I know they cover the team, but that's just the way I see it. Anything could happen. Obviously, it's college football. We've seen a lot of weird results.
Well, and I've picked Notre Dame, so more than likely USC's winning this game.
Fair enough. Yeah, Dave's bad at this. I should probably go opposite of it. We've gone the same. I should just switch all my picks, but
you probably should.
I've been writing them down before you've said anything, so I'm not trying to just keep. I'm not trying to keep like my lead with you. I'm just picking.
I don't like playing those games anyway.
Okay.
I like to be honestly incorrect rather than
like trying to chase point. Yeah. All right. Yeah. We got next up
Rutgers Scarlet Knights.
Scarlet Knight.
This was the rivalry game I was talking about, like one of the most heralded ones.
Oh, yeah.
There's probably 3 trophies for this game. They're on the road at
Michigan State Spartans.
Charge!
12:30 p.m. on FS1. So this gets national TV, whereas Fresno State at UCLA, Maryland at number 4 Penn State, those get Big Ten Network. Interesting. Rutgers traveling to Michigan State. Michigan State's a 1.5-point home favorite. This goes in the same bucket as Minnesota, Wisconsin. I would be better off blindfolded and pinning a tail on a donkey than actually applying any kind of analysis to this.
I'll tell you what, I'll pick the opposite of whatever you pick. How's that?
All right, I'm taking Rutgers.
Okay, I'll go Michigan State.
Great.
Michigan State is a 1.5-point favorite.
Correct.
So basically another coin flip. The Big Ten, they might start doing not just half points. They'll do like quarter points, 1/8 of a point. Kind of like gas prices. They could get down to Michigan State is a 1 9/10 favorite over.
Rutgers offense is the best thing in this game, but Rutgers defense is also probably the worst thing in this game. So I think that's basically this comes down to how wild does Aiden Childs play? Does he turn it over more than 2 times? If he
hasn't been turning it over much lately.
He hasn't been,
and they've still been struggling.
But is that like a dormant volcano that just that's still active? Yeah, you don't know.
It could erupt. All right, I'm just gonna go opposite. I literally have no idea. Like, who the hell knows? I feel good that they're at home, but I'm not
sure.
I'm not sure. Okay. Now this is an in-state rivalry, so this is actually a rivalry, but I mean it's not gonna be pretty. We got
Purdue Boilermakers
on the road at
Indiana Hoosiers.
Hey folks, I'm from Indiana.
Which Big Ten team's playoff case is in the worst position right now?
Indiana.
And what has Kurt Cignetti been willing to do to teams this year?
He knows the score. He gets the women. Cignetti kills.
That's right, kill them. This game's on at 4 p.m. on FS1, and if you want to witness a murder, flip over to Purdue at number 5 Indiana. Indiana's a 29.5-point favorite. I think they win this one by 42 points.
He was given an offer he couldn't refuse. He knows the score. He gets the women. And he kills the bad guys. Cignetti. Signetti kills.
God has mercy.
Signetti.
Don't.
Signetti kills.
Yeah.
Was Signetti, like our love affair with Signetti has been well documented. Was he kind of a whiny bitch after the Ohio State game?
A little bit. He's a sore loser. He's definitely got that in him.
Yeah.
And he was talking.
I mean,
a
killers
lot.
do. Killers don't like to lose. You know.
Yeah, he was talking a lot of shit beforehand, and then it didn't turn out the way he wanted, and he got a little sore loser. But that happens. You know, lots of guys are sore losers. Doesn't mean they're bad. Well, it doesn't mean they're bad at coaching. It does mean they're like kind of a, piece of crap. But most coaches are. Like an important thing to remember. These are all overpaid gym teachers, and we've all had gym teachers. Some are good, some are pieces of crap.
Yeah.
But now they've all been overpaid, so they're also got like a little bit of narcissism and megalomania going on too. So they're mostly people you wouldn't want to like have a beer with. Just let's be real.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, I feel like they're just going to crush them just because like they're kind of
Purdue's horrible. Purdue's horrible, and Indiana needs to make a statement. Like winning this one like 63-7, I think would make it very hard for Indiana to get left out of any eventual playoffs.
Yeah. So this is I'm sorry, Purdue, but you are the sacrificial lamb in this movie. Not pretty. I don't like how these games are bunched up, David. Like, how do we not have like a late game in this window? There's so many games. Like, do we need
It
4
sucks.
12:30 games? Like, do we need that? Like, I guess we get it over with, but man, this is just nutty.
No, I mean like Fresno State at UCLA or Notre Dame at USC should be a night game.
Yeah.
One of those two should be a night game.
The Fresno State UCLA one makes sense. Like, that would be like,
Yeah, but also like Notre Dame at USC should not be bunched up with like all these other games. I think that one should be like. I mean, there was a time when that would have been the primetime NBC game.
yeah.
There was a time when men were kind. Go ahead. Sorry, I was just dropping into Les Mis, as often happens.
I love it. We got one last game. This is a rivalry game, we know.
Washington Huskies.
And they're on the road taking on
Oregon Ducks.
4:30 p.m. on NBC. Washington traveling to number 1 Oregon. Oregon is a 19.5-point favorite. This is another situation where you've got a coach maybe trying to exercise some demons a little bit.
100%.
Sort of like the Michigan-Ohio State game. My problem here is that Washington is functional, and they really haven't gotten blown out a whole lot. Like let's just take a look at the Washington schedule really quick, because they lost by 5 to Washington State. They lost by 3, did they lose by 3 to Rutgers? That's so crazy. I almost thought it was a typo for a second.
Nope.
They got absolutely smoked by Penn State.
Yep.
The Indiana game was closer than it appeared. They lost by 14. The Iowa game was not as close as it appeared. They lost by 24. They beat UCLA.
I think you just talked yourself into Oregon.
Yeah,
I'm taking Oregon. If you want to go against me, take Washington. Do you want to trust Jed Fish? You love Jed Fish.
I'm kind of in a coin flip situation. So here's what Oregon's done lately. It's been kind of a disappointing mess for 3 weeks, and that includes 2 games where they won by 3 touchdowns, but they weren't, dominant games. Yeah. And then they had the Wisconsin game where they won by 3. I'll take Washington. Yeah, that's fine.
Wow.
I'll take them plus 19.5. I don't think they're winning or anything, but I think they can keep it within 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, this is one of those things where, how many days has it been since Oregon's, and we even had someone in the chat, Washington, talking about like the 2 biggest, most important games in like the rivalry of recent memory. Washington won them both. This stings. If you guys weren't following the Pac-12 back then, Washington would beat Oregon, and then everyone would talk about how much of a better team Oregon is and blah, blah, blah. We just heard that. And even when, Pac-12 championship, okay, you play in the regular season. No. Pac-12 championship, no. And then Washington goes to the playoff, goes to the national championship game, and people are still talking about Oregon. I feel like this is Oregon exercising some demons like you talked about. Very similar to Ohio State, Michigan. Lopsided rivalry for a little bit, for a stretch there, and you just want to come back as a very good team now. Oregon is obviously with a vengeance in this one, so I think they're going to blow them out.
And the big thing is, I think we still don't know who's starting for quarterback for Washington. I feel much more confident in my pick if it's DeMond Williams. If it's Will Rogers, I may cry a little bit.
He does looks dynamic when he's got the ball in his hands. But I think Oregon's got the athletes. They got speed everywhere to kind of neutralize that a little bit. But he can make things happen. So it'll be interesting to see. Okay, that's it. I think we can take a quick break and we'll do questions. All right, back in a minute, everyone. All righty. We previewed all those games.
10 games. 10 games.
10 games of
so many games
of previewing. We got some questions to get to. If you see something in the chat that's a question, David, just look at it. I haven't been able to catch those, and again, I'm sorry we didn't have that. But we got like one of our favorite callers. We got two of our favorite callers. Which one do you go first? Which one? We got Perk. We got the Zodiac Killer.
I would hate to leave the Zodiac Killer waiting.
Okay, we'll let him.
Hello, Ryan. Hello, Sith Lord Dave. That's right. It's me, resident Rutgers fan. I've been a little down. I'm not gonna lie to you. Hard to even make this call after. Second half collapses, but with Rutgers and Stanford in the second half last week. Just trying to find some healthy outlets for all this feeling. So I guess my question is, you guys follow trash teams, underachieving programs, disappointing fan bases, soul-crushing play. I mean, how do you do it? What's your secret? Any help whatsoever? Keep it mediocre, boys.
Wow. We need some therapy, I think.
I think he needs some help. I think if he just sends us his address, we can get some help on the way there very quickly before maybe anybody else has to, deal with his sadness. We'll see. As somebody who's been following UCLA for a long time, I can tell you pre-journalism days or mid-journalism days, before I started working for Bro and after I was a Daily Bruin writer, I had season tickets during the Neuheisel era. And I'll tell you the way I dealt with it was I don't remember anything of the Neuheisel era because I got myself more or less blind drunk before every single one of those football games. And the buddy I had who went to games with me, he would go to sleep in a planter in the concourse of the Rose Bowl while I would try to piece together what happened over the course of the second half as I slowly sobered up. I remember virtually nothing of the Akeem Ayers era at UCLA. I remember I was there for many of his games. I don't remember anything that happened. So that might not be a solution for everyone. I don't recommend it, but it is something that quote unquote helps because, not having any clear memories of the Rick Neuheisel era, really beneficial, I think, generally to my mental health. But generally speaking, I think you just kind of you enjoy the funnier side of it. When it's shitty, you kind of lean into it a little bit. It's fun.
Yeah. What I typically do, I head over to the hardware store. I pick up some duct tape, maybe some chains,
and a lot of plastic sheeting.
Yeah, that's good. Tarps are great.
Yeah.
If you can find chloroform, it's a good one. They don't always have it at the Ace Hardware.
Chainsaw?
Home Depot, maybe. Nah, it's a little noisy. I try. I got.
What
pickaxe.
about some lime that you can just pour on?
Lime is good. Yeah. Bleach. Yeah. Pickaxe is nice. So those big clippers you can cut fingers. I mean, locks.
Really thick things. Yeah.
Those are good. Yeah. And Turner's is a great if you like fishing stuff, but I'm able to go to the ammo area and pick up some extra bullets.
Okay.
That's what it's kind of my thing. I don't know if that would help our friend, the resident Rutgers fan, but that's just sort of things I would like to do.
Okay. I love it. I love it.
The team. All right. We got another voicemail.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Perk. After listening to this podcast for this football season. I've listened to my fair share of Dave knocking Ohio State down a peg whenever he can because of his hatred for Chip Kelly. I've listened to your guys' love affair every week for Kurt Signetti and the cute little drop that you guys have for him. And after the huge win that Ohio State had on Saturday, I could call in and be the loud, arrogant, asshole Ohio State fan. But you guys have said you don't like that fan. I, quite frankly, don't like that type of Ohio State fan. And nobody does. But I am going to take this opportunity to be the type of fan that I know for a fact Dave hates. I presume Ryan hates him, and the OG listeners of this podcast hate him, and that is an arrogant Cal Golden Bears fan, because my Cal Golden Bears, according to the Zodiac Killer, went into Palo Alto last weekend. I think the game was in Palo Alto, I don't know, and they laid down a 3-point ass kicking to be bowl eligible in their first year in the ACC. Not a lot of people are talking about this. I don't get it. But, the Coastal Elite, they have no choice but to pay attention now to this working class blue collar team that is Cal Berkeley. And if they're not going to cover it, then I will. With that being said, rant over. Hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving, and Dave, happy belated birthday.
Thank you, Perk.
Good stuff. We talked about. Didn't Stanford have like a 21-point lead or something? 21-0.
They had like an 11-point second half lead, and they gacked it away. It was very sad for them. Yeah. No,
that's why Zodiac had to go to the hardware store.
Yeah, that's why he's been spending a lot of time at the hardware store.
But thank you, Perk.
Appreciate that, Perk. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours as well.
Yeah, Cal's bowl eligible, right?
That's right, baby.
Yeah.
The sturdy Golden Bear, the sturdiest of Golden Bears. All right, we got to get into questions.
Hugh, is it Hugh or Brian? The 5 questions.
Yeah,
I think that's
Hugh Janus. All right. Hi, fellas. It's your pal Hugh Janus back with a few late season questions for you. Onward. 1. Do you have any idea what those assholes Larry Scott and George Kliavkoff are up to these days? That's a great question. I have no idea.
I'm picturing like on a bed, like Scrooge McDuck style, just like throwing money in the air. Like that's probably what they're doing. Laughing all the way to the bank.
So George Kliavkoff is currently listed as an American business person and college athletic administrator.
Yeah.
I don't think his current employment is listed here. All right.
They're going to be on the boards of somewhere. Like they're just on boards of things like,
Larry Scott was somewhere and it was funny, but I can't remember where it is now. Wasn't he working for some like terrible political organization? I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They both suck and they're gone forever. Okay, next one. 2, Dave's inspiring story about crapping his pants got me thinking about an age-old question that has stumped even the wisest men in the world through the decades. Which is worse, shitting in an airplane lavatory or at a highway rest stop bathroom? Great question.
I think airplane.
It's the airplane, no doubt. And why?
I mean,
space.
It's like very confined space. Yeah.
It's the space.
And there's only then you got like 100 people for 2 bathrooms. So
yeah, and so you've got that pressure of like, God, I can't take as much time as I might need or want here, and it's just it's a mess. A highway rest stop bathroom is a mess, but it's a normal pooping situation, no matter whatever.
You're still pooping.
And frankly, I don't mind a good some people get leery of pooping in public restrooms. I don't mind it.
No, I don't mind it. Like I've done a lot of camping, like a lot of porta potty things, and even like
I've done backpacking where you got to poop on the ground and you got to wipe with a stick. This stuff happens.
I've done that.
Yeah. All right. 3. What is the most important attribute a head coach needs to be successful in today's world of college football? Psychosis. It's not a fun job. You got to be a monomaniacal psychopath. You got to be driven to do everything at an extremely high level. But I would say the number one most important thing at this point is fundraising, executive management skills. I don't know. The problem is there's too much job now.
There's a lot of job. I don't think you can, if you could have said like recruiting or like X's and O's, but you kind of have to do everything. But like literally managing people you have to be able to, there's just so many decisions that have to be made. It's just, I think it's tough to pinpoint one thing, one attribute.
They've got to, schools, once the revenue share kicks in and all that kind of stuff, they have to start investing in a true real general manager
Yes.
position and having a front office type thing, because it's too much. And these guys are psychos, but you're going to run out of your talent pool at some point from a coaching perspective. And it's hard to have a guy who's both good at managing a football team and also really good at fundraising. Like, you got to find unicorns who are good at that. And then they also have to be good at recruiting. And they've got to be, when you're not coaching, when you're not managing, when you're not recruiting, you've got to be, cozying up to donors and getting, unless it's a school with institutional investment that you don't need to court, which is very rare. Like, these coaches need to be good at golf. Like, they need to go out and like golf all the time. And it's just, I'm not like saying feel bad for coaches because they're making a lot of money, but it's not a job that I would really want. It's kind of turned in the last few years where like it seemed pretty easy to me, 4 or 5 years ago. Like, if you're a head coach, just hire good coordinators and then recruit. That's not that hard.
Yeah, you got to be relentless. Relentless.
Now it seems really hard.
Yeah.
So I would not want it.
I'd like the salary.
Yeah, the salary would be nice. All right, 4. Any thoughts on Bitcoin now that it's at nearly $100,000?
I know nothing about the Bitcoins.
I still think it's a scam.
Yeah.
So I think it's, it hasn't, the bottom hasn't dropped out yet. So if you're making money, feel free, but still think it's a scam. All right. 5. Question for Ryan. I've been following college football for 50 plus years and have lost count of how many times USC football has been put on probation in that time. I know it's a bunch, including just recently again with Lincoln Riley. What is it about the quote culture at USC that they just refuse to follow the rules no matter how many times they get caught cheating? All right, I'll just sit back and enjoy it. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. They had coaches coaching people that shouldn't have been coaching people. So I don't know if that's a culture thing. But yeah.
Okay.
That's all I got.
That's all you got. All right, fine. My pals Mike Litteris and Howie Felterbush. Sorry. My pals Mike Litteris and Howie Felterbush wanted me to ask a bonus question if you have time. They'd like to know what it will take for UCLA to get some real NIL money coming into the program so they can truly compete with the rest of the Big Ten. All that stuff I mentioned before, that needs to happen at football.
It's happening in basketball, not football.
Basketball's fine. Football is not. So there needs to be a lot of outreach from Deshaun Foster. Needs to be a lot of boats rowing in the same direction from the AD on down. And they need to start courting all of the many wealthy people who have graduated from UCLA who might be convinced to have an interest in athletics. There's a lot of them. There is a.
Is that harder, like for a basketball school to get football money? Is that more difficult?
I will jump through the computer.
Like probably DePaul. Like DePaul. Maybe is that their best comp? Like DePaul and UCLA.
I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna jump through the computer. It's gonna be like The Ring. Remember that movie, The Ring?
Yes.
I'm gonna be like that little girl crawling out of a well, but I'm gonna be coming through my computer to strangle you. All right. As always, keep up the mediocre work we've come to expect from you both through the years. Love, Hugh Janus.
He also sent you like a video of something that wasn't for the show.
I'll need to watch that. Cool.
Check it out.
Not for the show, though.
Let's go. This is Bobby?
Bobby.
Did we read the first one that he sent?
No, we didn't. He just sent 2.
Okay. So this is 2 emails. The first one is very long. USC versus UCLA de facto Big Ten championship. Hi, Ryan and Dave. After watching ASU the past couple seasons win 3 games in the last 2 seasons, it's been such a blessing to play meaningful November games to elevate our program week after week, despite being relegated to the Big 12. When I saw UCLA versus USC last night, I just assumed we'd be watching a dramatic defect championship matchup for the Big Ten championship, as obviously these 2 schools with a coach who has gotten not 1, but 2 Heismans at USC. Oh, and the mute from UCLA. I'm sure he's good. After all, the SoCal schools have money. I mean, at least USC does. And the LA market, which provides tons of talent and exposure. Who wouldn't want to play there? Anyway, much to my surprise, apparently UCLA isn't very good. I guess the Calamari must be presenting problems. I was also disappointed to see USC only just gained bowl eligibility. Hold on. I need to stop for a moment to do something. Ha 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 ha. Suck it. Sorry. I had to get that out of my system. Anyway, with all the headwinds Lincoln Riley is facing They should definitely sign him to an extension. Bowl eligibility within 20 years of a Reggie Bush scandal. How the heck is he overcoming so much diversity? I think he means adversity.
Adversity.
Yes. He's overcoming so much diversity. We get what you're saying.
I don't think that's what Lincoln Riley's doing.
Honestly, he's such a good coach due to the aforementioned Heismans. They owe it to him to at least let him catch up to USC coaching legend Clay Helton. On a completely unrelated note, would you rather be a big fish in a small pond or say a Rutgers-sized fish in a large pond? Thanks, guys. Bobby. P.S. I've just been informed Lincoln Riley only had one Heisman at USC. All the more reason to give him more time. It's unfair to expect to win games without the singular best player in college football. P.S. I sent this email to the Pac-12 podcast email address first, so sorry I doubled it up. P.S. I sent this on my phone, and I realized I made a couple of hilarious typos, and I obviously stand by them. This was the defect Pac-10, Big Ten championship.
Beautiful read. Your question, though, Bobby, would you rather be a big fish in a small pond or say a Rutgers-sized fish in a large pond? And the answer is and always has been a big fish in a small pond. In the world of college football, it is so much better to be a big fish in a small pond. Participation in the Big Ten will not net USC or UCLA a goddamn thing on the field in perpetuity because these two institutions are cursed with management that just doesn't care enough.
Fair. That's fair. It is fun to see like the Arizona State fans of the world just laughing like you blew this shit up and now look at you, you suck.
Yeah. Anyway,
hold on. What was the reason why this all happened?
You know we need the money. Listen, we're not just doing this for money. We're doing it for a shitload of money.
That's why.
All right, you read this next one, and then I'll read the long one that comes after.
Okay, Ryan and David, in honor of Rivalry Week, who was your personal or professional rival or nemesis in your youth or adulthood? What is the backstory, and how did it turn out? This is from POC Jock.
God, I don't have this.
You don't have this one?
I don't really have an answer here.
Oh, I got one if you want to think.
I don't have one. Go, please.
Oh. Growing up, so when we moved from Western Pennsylvania to like Massachusetts when I was like 11, and I was a good baseball player and the Catholic altar boy. My last name's Abraham, but when I moved to Massachusetts, it was a very Irish and Italian town. So it was like an Irish Catholic church and Italian Catholic church. And I think we went to the Italian one first, and they sort of weren't really super nice, thinking we were Jewish or something with the last name. And then I didn't get picked on like this baseball team who was coached by this Italian guy. Like everyone had a last name that ended in a vowel. And I sort of had a rival with his son because he told my dad at the end of the year when we were both in an all-star game, like him, son, and mine. He said, I didn't pick. He's like, yeah, kid's a good ball player. I didn't pick him because I thought he was Jewish. So that was kind of a funny. It's like a little like kid rivalry. But adult, 2013, I believe, when I was part of Rivals, speaking of Rivals, and USCFootball.com, left to join Scout where David was. And that's why, basically, because of David. There was friends with the people that ran Rivals, and I'm still friends with a lot of people that are over there. A lot of them come over to our network or 247 or gone to On3 or whatever. But yeah, the guy that was running it, he went after me. Like he was upset that I was leaving. I didn't even decide to leave yet. So that was that became a rivalry. Like when I left, I was like, I'm going to bury the site. Because when you leave, you basically leave all your customers and you just have to convince people to come to this new network. You don't bring everyone from your network. They have to cancel their credit card or just, sign up again. And that was the big adult rivalry. I was like, I am going to bury this site that I created and make sure that the Scout site, which is now 247, is bigger. And it was about 18 months till we got bigger, and then we got bigger than when we ever were at Rival. So I took that very personally. I felt like they were coming after me personally, which was weird. They before I left, my contract was running out. They fired me and said just canceled all my stuff on Rivals, and so they were trying to screw me going out the door. I'm still friends with the person that did this, but it was like contentious there for a while. Like it's back to it. And I think he kind of apologized for whatever. But I took it very personally. I was like, no, dude. And I just, I don't like losing shit. So I wanted to make sure I had the biggest USC site, and I made that happen.
Look at you.
Is that all right?
Yeah, I got nothing. I got nothing for this.
Nothing off all that. I gave it this long answer. You got no rivalry, nothing.
I don't know. Maybe that's why. I live in squalor. I don't have that. I don't.
You're competitive and like you want to get good stories and all that, right? Like it's a competitive thing,
right? My biggest rival is myself.
Okay, that's fair.
And competing against my own self-loathing. But that's a story for another day. Okay. All right, here we go. This is Rob in Seattle.
All right.
Oregon has to play Washington this week, gentlemen. Let me get this out of the way. Do I think Washington will beat Oregon in Eugene this weekend? No, I do not. Am I worried that Landanning is unhinged enough to replicate or surpass the 70-21 shock and awe campaign that Washington put on Oregon in 2016? Yes, I am. However, I'm here to tell you that I think the game will end up being closer to the 20-ish point line that Vegas expects. My best guess is that DeMond Williams starts, does a respectable job for a true freshman getting his first collegiate start in a hostile environment. Washington's defense continues to look decent, and Oregon ends up winning the game something like 35-13, largely by dominating in the trenches. Gross. Now let's focus on what really matters, the recent past. Oregon does a phenomenal job of being a mindless hype machine, but just like they will never let us forget 12 in a row, I will never let them forget that Washington won the single most meaningful game in the series during last year's Pac-12 championship game. Watching a one-legged Dylan Johnson break off that 18-yard run to ice the game might be my favorite UW play of all time. That win was made all the sweeter by ensuring Oregon would not make the playoff and that Bo Nix would not win the Heisman, ultimately placing third behind Penix. Winning the Sugar Bowl over Sark was also very sweet, but it did not mean as much as beating the 9-point favorite Ducks for the second time that season and third in a row to become the forever final Pac-12 champs.
Yes.
It is not yet Saturday, so as of right now, we are all living in a world that has never seen a Landanning Oregon team beat the Washington Huskies. Could the Huskies win at Autzen on Saturday? Sure, but probably not. This is a middling Washington team in a transition year with a stopgap roster riddled with injuries, potentially starting a true freshman at quarterback. Aside from pride, losing this game would not mean a lot to us. It is the expectation. But for Landanning and Oregon, they have to win this game. After the close call against Wisconsin, taking an L at home to your rival before heading into the Big Ten championship game against Ohio State, Rutro, someone check Uncle Phil's heart monitor. Wow. Will we see a moment on Saturday where going 0-4 against Washington is staring Landanning right in the face, and he calls an insane play that ends up overshadowing the 2.5 pianos that fell on Fish's head? Again, probably not, but I sure hope so. Pressure's on, Lan. Go Dogs. Rob in Seattle.
That's a great email. That is a great email. Like,
yeah,
we're going to get killed, but here, let me make you think about all this other stuff, which is all true. And if this game, if they don't cover this game, there's going to be questions about Oregon because they should win by a lot.
Yep, for sure.
Last one, POC Gobble Gobble. Ryan and David, do you have any juicy past or present Thanksgiving family drama?
Ooh.
He has 3 questions. That's the first one.
Thanksgiving family drama. No, not really.
Yeah, most of my Thanksgivings, especially in my adult life, have been like orphan Thanksgivings. Like I've not traveled back east with my family. It's mostly been here. So it's like friends coming over, stuff like that.
We don't. Us folk don't get up to that much.
Yeah, and not a lot of drama. Like I'm just, if you need like the weird uncles and stuff to be coming like a big family thing, and I don't. Yeah, I haven't really had that much. It's mostly been like friends and things.
Yeah.
What's your go-to Thanksgiving side?
Stuffing.
Yeah, I'm very basic with this. I love the stuffing. I do mashed potatoes. I put corn with my mashed potatoes, gravy and turkey. Like that's my main, like, don't mess with my stuffing, turkey, mashed potatoes. I love that.
Yeah.
You a cranberry person?
Not so much. I was when I was younger, but I just don't like it as much anymore.
Yeah. I've never got into it too much. I did buy some Trader Joe's cranberries. Thanks, John and Brea. I'm going to make like a cranberry thing, which I don't normally do, but I'm going to do that. And a green bean casserole. You got to have something like green, but it's still got to be starchy. And then last one, what is your choice of bird prep?
Smoked.
Oh, so you smoke the bird?
Yeah, I'd like a smoked bird for
nice
Thanksgiving.
Probably
you can get up to that crap here in sunny Southern California.
You can. Like about 20 years ago, I started deep frying them, and it's awesome. I've done where you brine the bird. I've done that sometimes. You don't really need to. I like injecting it with like a butter, garlic, white wine, like kind of thing. You get those and just kind of inject all the meat with that. But man, the deep frying, you buy peanut oil, it's freaking expensive. Like it was like $55 for like 5 gallons of peanut oil or whatever it is. But you put that in there. About a 15-pound bird is the max, at least for my fryer. You slowly lower it in. It's bubbling. Get it to about 400 degrees. When you drop the bird, it'll go down to the 350. Then you got to play with the heat, the heat to try to keep it at 350 for about 45 minutes. Like that's basically what you want. So it's like if it goes down too much, you got to turn it up. You don't want it to go too high. You don't want the bird to be frozen. You don't want to just drop it in like all the idiots that are catching their house on fire. But man, 45 minutes later, it is like so good. You've had it before, right?
But let's be real. The best way to prepare turkey is to throw it in the trash and then eat like chicken or steak for Thanksgiving. And if you can't do that, what we did as kids, once we got to like teenage years, my mom, who also didn't like turkey, as any sane person doesn't, decided we were just going to do Mexican food for Thanksgiving every year. So we would have like enchiladas, we would have tacos, we would do the whole thing, and it was awesome. And so if I can't recommend anything enough, break from tradition. Turkey sucks. It's a bad meat. Chicken is far better. Steak is better. There's so many things that are better than turkey. And yes, you can find all fancy ways to prepare it, but turkey sucks. It's a bad meat.
I disagree. I like turkey.
You're very comfortable being wrong. We've learned that on the show over the years.
Like the dark meat, but I love and I like making sandwiches, turkey sandwiches. Like when you and I like carving the turkey. So when you get the breast, like you come in from the bottom and up the side, and you get like a chunk, and then you can kind of slice it, and you get some. That's the best stuff for turkey sandwiches afterwards. So get some nice soft white bread, turkey sandwiches. Oh, I love that afterwards. So I would always make like extra turkey because I just want more. It's my favorite, like it's probably my favorite meal of the year, just like overall meal. And then pumpkin pie or apple pie. Are you like pies?
Yeah, pies are good.
Okay.
Who doesn't like pies?
I don't know, dude. You don't like turkey. You're like eating enchiladas on freaking Thanksgiving.
No, not liking turkey is a completely fair position. Turkey is not a good meat.
All right.
You're high.
No,
it can be so hard to make. Yeah, turkey just so often ends up dry and just ugh.
When you deep fry, it's not dry. Man, it is good. And then sometimes I haven't done this for a while, but I would. I think I saw an old Facebook memory of doing this. But you make like a funnel cake batter, and then take some of your favorite sweets and throw them in the freezer the day before, and then you basically like Oreos or something or little mini Snickers or whatever. Dip them in the funnel cake batter and right into the hot oil, and you get deep fried like Oreos, deep fried Snickers, like freaking good. Twinkies we've done. I mean, that's like sweetness. Like it's like you're at a fair. It's pretty awesome.
How do you not have the diabetes?
I don't know.
All right. Well, that's
why I work out so I can eat all this crap. They're like, "Do you eat healthy?" I'm like, "Hell no, I do." That's the only reason I work out. Just because I want to eat all that crap. I might do that this time because my niece is coming up from San Diego State. She's like 18. I'm like, she likes sweets. I'll deep fry some Oreos or something in the oil. It's good.
There you go.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for David Woods. I am Ryan Abraham. Hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we will talk to you next time.
Toodles.